Thank you so much for joining me at the Exchange today for this interview, Rodney. First of all, can you tell me about your role at LV and your key responsibilities?
Well, I'm Rodney Assock. I'm the Operational Services Director at LV. So what that means is my team provide all of the support functions for the contact centres across the general insurance business. So everything from planning, insight around our operation and our business, customer insight, customer relations, training, quality standards, amongst other things.
There's a huge amount of chatter around artificial intelligence and chatbots within the contact center. But how relevant are these developments actually for you today? Do you use them yet?
We're currently looking at a number of our processes that we have in our business and looking at opportunities to use this capability to actually get rid of some of the ongoing kind of processy kind of like jobs, if you like, to make those jobs more interesting for our people.
And what are your plans for 2018 to take that to the next level?
Again, it's just probably really just sort of like looking at our customer journeys, understanding the opportunities to kind of do that. We are looking to invest some more in that particular space at the moment. We have some ideas about where we're going to be using that, largely around all of those processes that kind of continue sort of go on.
Another big industry change today is measuring the voice of the customer, especially as we enter the phase of survey fatigue. How do you measure VOC? What kind of tools and tech do you use? And do you still use surveys as well?
Currently, we have a combination of, we use email surveys and we use qualitative surveys where we actually ring customers and talk to them directly, as well as focus groups and so on. I'd agree, there's an element of customers getting fatigued by that, you know, they're just going to fill things in for the sake of it. But I think more and more in terms of what we're doing is we're seeing more of the in-time kind of feedback, so things like on our online journeys, we actually get survey responses immediately back from customers who basically pop up and they want to tell you about how they're feeling and so on from there, which is really, really sort of insightful for us. I think for what really matters though is around looking at some of those key metrics like ease of doing business with you. We see that as being a way of actually understanding what are those journeys for our customers about and tweaking things to make sure that things are right. So take the fatigue out by actually using the insight effectively, and maybe people will actually want to do business and carry on with you.
Yeah, and you mentioned also that you get almost real-time insights. How do you ensure you make that actionable within the business as well? Like what process goes into that?
Well, whether it's real-time or near real-time, so we actually get customers who give us the verbatim feedback. Or if the net promoter score, for example, happens to be sort of low for any reason, they'll actually appear on a on like an exception report for us, and we go about actually looking at all of those feedbacks. And if we think something isn't right, we need to put things back for our customers. Our team managers will actually go off and talk to their people that have actually been involved in that process, and we'll actually outbound customer call or email those customers to find out is there anything else we can do. And I think the response we get from customers is one of surprise, but also one that they're really, really pleased that they're like, you've actually bothered to listen to me. I didn't expect to hear anything back from you. And the fact that you actually go a step above that really kind of like turns customers into, you know, being real advocates.
What has been your biggest challenge in 2017 and what key steps have you taken to overcome this challenge?
I think it's an ongoing challenge, but it's probably been heightened a lot in the insurance industry. It's really around meeting customer expectations and the fact that those habits or expectations have changed continuously, and trying to stay in touch with those, let alone one step ahead, is very, very difficult. You can have as much management information as you like, but unless you understand what it actually means underneath and what is going to matter to a customer, that's the difference which has gone on with that. So I think a lot of time we've spent is around juggling, obviously, to make sure that we can keep ahead of it and understand what those numbers are telling us. But I think also then to understand, well, what is it that we can do? We do look out to market and see who's doing good things, and we still with pride for the best bits and obviously make them relevant, but only if they are relevant to us and to our customers as well.
What is your prediction for the biggest trend, change or disruptor that will impact customer experience and service in 2018? And what steps are you taking to prepare for it now?
Keeping an eye on those startups to look at ideas. Whether or not those startups can actually do them or not is another story, but I think it's the adoption of some of those concepts by some of the big players that I think will be good to see. I mean, we've just recently heard that Amazon, for example, are interested in the general insurance market in the UK, to where Google and others have tried and not really made it happen. Not saying that they won't go away, but Amazon's a different prospect altogether. people are buying, it's consumerism. So what does that bring? So it brings a new challenge, and us as an insurance industry as well as financial services have got to keep on our toes to be ahead of that.
Absolutely. And with the startups that you mentioned, is that something that you're looking towards to maybe partner with as well? So utilizing the best that they have available because they're disrupted, they can do things easily? Or is it more just looking at what they're doing and perhaps implementing it yourself?
Potentially a bit of both, actually. Organisationally, we have worked with startups and we have actually implemented ideas and actually purchased investment and actually sort of taken over part of that business on our life side. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility to look at it across other areas of the business as well, but yeah.
Some quick fire questions for you as well. First of all, what is the most overused buzzword in customer experience and service, and why?
I'd have to say, well, there's a couple. I guess omni-channel is one. For me, I think it's interesting getting people's interpretation. What does omni-channel really mean? Is it multi-channel? Is it just doing things differently, cross-channel? But to me, the omni piece is around having seamless service provision. That's a good interesting one. And I guess big data is the usual one, with loads of data scientists and analysts and so on that are coming on board.
And what do you feel is the most underrated tool or tech, piece of software or something else that you actually get a lot of value from, but not enough practitioners are using yet?
I think it's not tech. Genuinely, I think it's around staying in touch with what your people in your organisation are saying. They're the ones that are closest to customers. We still do a lot of our work is majority through voice. If we're not in tune with what our people are telling us that customers are telling them, even if they don't appear on surveys or in feedback for online information, then they're the most valuable ones for us, and we need to make sure we're still in touch with that.
And finally, what was your key learning in 2017 that you can share with fellow CX and service leaders that they can take into 2018?
I think look beyond what the numbers tell you. I think spend time looking at the verbatims of what customers are actually saying and look at the sentiment of that rather than just the kind of scores. Might sound obvious to say that, but it's amazing how that doesn't actually get taken so seriously. And I think really getting to understand what those customers are telling you and what's actually most important to them, not what most is important to you as an organisation that you can give to the customer. They're two very different things.
That was really interesting. Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you today, Rodney.
Thank you.